In this video, we are going to see how to enroll Thinkific user for Thrivecart payment. So here my objective is every time a product has been purchased on Thrivecart, which is a shopping cart software. So here we have received the user details. Now we want to enroll this particular user on Thinkific. How can that be done? For this we will have to integrate the two applications, and the same thing can be done using Pabbly Connect software. So here your trigger application will be Thrivecart and your action application will be Thinkific. Now, how can you do this yourself? Integrate and automate this entire process. To understand that, let me take you to my screen. To begin with the process, we are first going to type the URL pabbly.com/connect, and as we do that, here we have reached the landing page. On the right hand side, we have two options, sign in and sign up for free. So if you are an existing user, simply sign in, and if you are a new user, you can sign up. It is not going to take more than 2 minutes. Now, since I am an existing user, I have signed in here. As I do that, here you can see that we have reached all applications page, and these are the various products of Pabbly. So here we are going to click on access now for Pabbly Connect, as we are doing this integration using Pabbly Connect software. Now here we have reached a dashboard. On the right hand side there is a tab create workflow. Let's click on this, and a dialog box has appeared which is asking us to name this workflow. So what is my objective here? That every time there is a payment made for a particular product in Thrivecart, let's say it's a course, then for that particular course the user should be enrolled in Thinkific. So I'm going to name it as Enroll Thinkific user for Thrivecart payment. Now I'm going to click on create. As I do that, here we have reached another window which has got two extremely important events. One here is trigger, another one is action. Now triggers and actions are basically those two principles or concepts on which this entire automation works. Trigger is when this happens, action says do this. Basically action here is the response of your trigger application. Now as per this integration, my trigger application here will be Thrivecart. Let's click on this. And what would be the trigger event? Now the trigger event is the event that is going to make this workflow run, and here it would be product purchase. Let's click on connect. And here you can see that Pabbly Connect is asking to connect itself with the Thrivecart account. I'm going to select add new connection. Now to set up this connection, we need a token. How can you receive this API key? First you have to log into your Thrivecart account. I have already done that, and then click on this hyperlink. As you do that, go to API keys and here create API key. So you can name it anything. Here I have written demo. Now I'm going to create API key. This is the key, and now I'm going to copy this and paste this over here. Let's click on save to set up this connection. And here we can see that Thrivecart and Pabbly Connect are now totally connected. Now here you have to mention the product that we want to purchase. So these are the various products. Let's say that I wish here to purchase a course which is PHP for beginners. Let's click on this. And now the product status is test mode. I'm going to click on save and send test request. Now as we do that, here it is saying that do a test submission in the application in order to capture the response here, which basically means that I have to purchase this particular product from Thrivecart, which is going to be in test mode. So now this means that I'm going to purchase this particular product. This is definitely going to be in test mode. So now let me take you there. So this is my Thrivecart account. Here these are the various products, and we are going to look for PHP for beginners. Here it is. Go and click on get URL. Click on view checkout. So as we do that, here we have to fill in the details. So let's say the first name here is new. Then we have the last name demo. Then here we have the email address. Then we have the phone number, and these are the details. I'm going to click on continue. And here we have to enter the card details. These are the test details. And now here I'm going to enter the information. So here we can see that the purchase is successful. Now I'm going to take you back to Pabbly Connect, and here we can see we have received the API response. And as I take you down, here is the name of the product. Then this is the currency. Then this here is the amount, $15. Then again, as I take you down, here we have the customer details. So this here is the name of the customer. This here is the last name. Here we have the first name. This here is the email address and the mobile number. Then again, as I take you down, here we have the address details. Now what is my objective? I want to enroll this user in Thinkific. But before I do that, I'm going to search for that user in Thinkific. So here my application will be Thinkific. Let's click on this. And the action event here would be to search user. Let's click on this, click on connect. So here Pabbly Connect is asking to connect itself with the Thinkific account. Let's click on add new connection, connect with Thinkific. Now here I have already logged into my Thinkific account. Let me take you there. So this is my Thinkific account, and this here, from here till .thinkific.com. So before .thinkific.com, this here is your subdomain. So I'm going to copy this, and here we have to paste this. Let's click on save. So once done, here we can see that the authorization has been successful. Now I'm going to take you down, and here we are going to search for this user through email. So we have mentioned email. Now the value, so here I'm going to click on this. You can see the previous step. Let's click on this. And here we are going to look for the email address. Here it is. And then we have to click on save and send test request. Before I do that, the method with which I have added this information here is known as mapping. And mapping is important so that every time the workflow runs, it can take the new data into consideration. Now I'm going to click on save and send test request. And here you can see that we have received the response. So this here is the first name of the user, then the last name. This is the full name. Here is the email address of the person. This here is the phone number. So now once I have received this information, what is my objective? So here I have got certain conditions, which means that if this Thinkific user already exists, then I'm simply going to enroll the user. If the Thinkific user doesn't exist, in that case, first I'm going to create the user and then enroll. So since there are conditions, I'm going to use a feature by Pabbly, which is router. Now here we can see that router step allows to execute different actions based on the filter conditions you set. And you can have different routes to it. So here this is the first route. I'm going to rename this, and here I'm going to write user exists. Let's click on update. Now as I do that, now I'm going to click on set filter and action steps. So now here we have to put a filter that this workflow should continue when. So I'm going to show you when it should continue. So as I take you up, here you can see in the response that we have received the pagination response, where it is showing that when the user exists, the total pages for pagination will be 1. So here I'm going to set filter and action steps. And here I'm going to look for the pagination details. So let's go to Thinkific, which is the step 2. And here I'm going to look for pagination. And yes, you can see meta pagination total pages. So this is 1. So I'm going to select this. Now this should be equal to 1. So when the user exists, this should be equal to 1. Let's click on save and send test request. You can see that I have received the status, which is it is a success, which means the condition is true. So this basically means that the user exists, and now I don't have to create a user since the user is already there, and I'm simply going to enroll the user. So I'm going to add another action step here, and this time the application here will be Thinkific once again, and the action event here would be enroll user. Let's click on connect. Here I'm going to go ahead with the existing connection. Now here we have the course demo. So what is the course that we are looking for? PHP for beginners. So please make sure that the same course is also there in Thinkific. Now the next thing is user ID. So I'm going to turn on this mapping button, and here I'm going to delete this. Go to step 2. This here is the user ID. Then we have the activated date and expiry date. Now if you want to enter this, you can always do that. Just remember that the dates are to be entered in this particular format. Next is save and send test request. And as I do that, here we have received the API response, which looks positive. So this here is the ID, user email, username. This here is the course name, user ID again, and this is the course ID. Now I have received this information, and once done, I'm going to go ahead with the route 2. And here I'm going to rename this route and write if the user doesn't exist. So user doesn't exist. Let's click on update. Now we have to check for user doesn't exist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up, and here I'm going to click on save and send test request once again. And here I'm going to make another purchase through Thrivecart. So let me take you to Thrivecart once again. And here I'm going to go to products. So we are going to look for PHP for beginners once again, get URL, view checkout. Now here I'm going to fill in the details. Let's say the first name here is Ian, then the last name here is user123. Then we have the email address, which is ian_user123@pabblytudes.com. Then we have the phone number. So here is the phone number. Okay, once the details are entered, I have clicked on continue. Let's enter the card details, and here I'm going to click on no thanks. Let's click on complete order, and here we can see that the purchase is successful. Going back to Pabbly Connect, let's understand if we have received the response, and here it is. So yes, we have received the response, and now I'm going to go to step 2 to search for the user. So what I'm going to do is, here I'm going to search for the user. So let's go to step 1, and this is the email address. Let's click on save and send test request. And as I do that, here we have received the response which says that the user doesn't exist. Why? Because the meta pagination total items is shown as 0. Now I'm going to go to the router where the user doesn't exist. Let's set the filter and action steps. So here, first of all, what is the label that I'm going to select? I'm going to go to step 2. Here is the meta pagination total pages 0. So if this is equal to 0, then only this workflow should continue. So we can see that the condition is true. So here I'm going to add another action step. This time I'm going to choose the application as Thinkific, where I will be creating a user. So the action event here would be to create user. Let's click on connect. We are going to go ahead with the existing connection. Once done, here we have to enter the first name. Let's go to step 1, and here I'm going to go down, and this here is the first name. Then we need the last name. So again, go to step 1, and here is the last name. Then we need the email address. Let's go to step 1, and here is the email address. And the method with which I have added this information here is known as mapping, and it is important so that every time the workflow runs, it can take the new data into consideration. Next, you can enter these details like password, rules, bio, company, headline, affiliate code, affiliate commission type, etc. So I'm just going to leave this blank right now. And here we have another category, which is send welcome email. This I'm going to turn on. Now the phone number. So let's go to step 1, and yes, here is the phone number. Let's click on this and click on save and send test request. So as I do that, here you have seen that we have received the response. So we have the first name, last name, full name, email address, and phone number. So once we have received this detail, now I'm going to enroll the same user. So here I'm going to look for Thinkific once again. And the action event here would be to enroll user. Let's click on connect. Go ahead with the existing connection. Okay, so first of all, what is the course? PHP for beginners. Here I'm going to map the user ID. Let's delete this. Go to step 2, and here is the ID. Then comes the activated date and expiry date. I'm going to leave this blank. Click on save and send test request. And as I do that, we can see we have received the response according to which this user must be enrolled now. So I'm going to take you to Thinkific account. Let's go to users. Here we have the users. I'm going to refresh this page once, and you can see Iron user 123. It has become a part, and here the enrollment details are also there, where the person has been enrolled to PHP for beginners. So this means that our integration is a success. Now I'm going to take you back to Pabbly Connect to understand what we have done. So I'm going to close this. Let's go up, and here the first step was trigger, where the trigger application was Thrivecart. The event was product purchase. Once the product was purchased, I had got the user details. Now first I have searched for that user in Thinkific if the user exists or not, and then my action application was router, which is a feature by Pabbly where I had put certain conditions. If the user was already there, so I have just enrolled the user to Thinkific. If the user wasn't there, then first we have created the user and then we have enrolled. For the filter, we have used meta pagination total pages, which is 1 if the user exists and is 0 when the user doesn't exist. So now I hope this is absolutely clear to you. If in case you have any doubt, you can refer to the workflow which is given in the video description. You can also clone the same and start to process immediately. Apart from this, if you have any specific integration to work on, you can always write to us. Not only this, but you can integrate multiple applications using Pabbly Connect software. To ask any of your query, you have to write at forum.pabbly.com. You can also visit our website, which is www.pabbly.com/connect. To get all the details about the latest updates, the integrations and applications, you can visit our Facebook group. If in case you have found this video helpful, then do not forget to share this with your friends and colleagues so that they can also get into automation and make their life easy. I'm going to see you very soon with different integrations and automations. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Take care of yourself.